Welcome to CPM 3, Module 4, Lesson 4. We're going over dimensional analysis. So if you already took CPM 3, we have already technically done dimensional analysis. We're just kind of doing a little bit more complex type of problems. The whole goal with this dimensional analysis is to get units to cancel. Okay, so the objective here is to convert values from one unit of measure into another unit of measure using the process of dimensional analysis. So here's what dimensional analysis is. It's a study of unit conversion. It can be as simple as converting feet to inches, or it can be something more challenging as converting mass or weight of a medical patient to the volume of liquid medicine required to treat the patient's illness. The basic principle of conversion is to multiply by a fraction, usually equal to 1, that converts the units from what you know to what you are trying to figure out. So for my nurses out there, this is a very practical thing of what you're going to use. So for example, if we are told that 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers, you can write that one of two ways. You can either write that as 1 mile over 1.6 kilometers, and that would be the same if you switch that up and say 1.6 kilometers equals 1 mile. Because 1 mile is the same as 1.6 kilometers, it's the same exact distance, and so those both are equal to 1, and so it does not matter how you write that, whether it's miles over kilometers or kilometers over miles. Another example is something like 1 foot equals 12 inches. You can either write that as 1 foot over 12 inches or 12 inches over 1 foot. Because again, we're talking about it's a ruler, right? So whether we have 1 foot over 12 inches, that's still a ruler, or whether I have 12 inches over 1 foot, that's still a ruler. So it still equals the exact same thing. So you're still multiplying by 1. So let's try this out. It says convert 50 miles per hour to kilometers per hour. So we need to talk about this word per. Per means to divide. So because I have 50 miles per hour, that means I have 50 miles divided by 1 hour. Okay, and you're always going to start with whatever they give you. And now I want to convert that to kilometers per hour. So I already have the hour part, so I need to change my miles to kilometers. So we are using one of these two ratios. Because the whole goal is to get my units to cancel, I want to go with this unit here. When I write it in that way, 1.6 kilometers over 1 mile. My fraction rules tell me that I can cancel out my miles here, and now I am left with kilometers an hour. Okay, if you switch that and you put 1 mile over 1.6 kilometers, nothing cancels, and now I have a mile squared, right? Miles times miles. Okay, so you always want your units to kind of be opposite of each other. Because I have a miles on top, I now need a miles on the bottom. So after we cancel out our miles, now you just multiply straight across. So 50 times 1.6 gives me 80, and my unit on top is kilometers, over 1 hour times 1 is 1 hour. So now we can just kind of shorthand this a little bit and say that this is 80 kilometers per hour. Let's try again on this one. It's a little bit more complicated. Suppose that you drive 1,200 kilometers in 4 days and drive about 5 hours per day. Can you estimate the average of speed in miles per hour? Okay, so this is what I need my final answer to be in. So start with what they give you first. We have, let me see if I can make this box a little bit smaller. We have 1,200 kilometers in 4 days. So we have 1,200 kilometers over 4 days. Okay, and notice that I'm keeping my units on here. You've got to keep your units on here. Because now when they tell me I'm driving about 5 hours per day, well, the unit that's repeating here are my days. So because I want my units to cancel, I'm going to put my 1 day on the top over 5 hours. So now my days cancel, and I am left with kilometers an hour. Well, I want my answer in miles per hour, so we need this conversion again. So, am I going to use this same ratio as kilometers over miles, or do I need to switch this? Well, if I use this one again, I'm going to have kilometers on top and then kilometers on top. So in this problem, I need to use this one here. So we're going to multiply this by 1 mile over 1.6 kilometers. Now my kilometers cancel from the top and the bottom, and now I am left with miles an hour, which is what I want my answer in. So multiply straight across. I have 1,200 times 1 mile. So I have 1,200 miles over 4 times 5 hours times 1.6. That is going to give me 32 hours. And now just divide. So 1,200 divided by 37. Doesn't really tell me how to round, so we're going to round to the nearest tenth. Oh no, it's a nice decimal. Just kidding. So this is 37.5, And because I'm in miles per hour, you can either keep it as miles over hour, or we have an abbreviation for miles per hour, and that is our mph. Okay. So let's turn the page, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 problems. It's nothing but this over and over and over. Now, if you do feel like you get it, please at least fast forward this video to the very last problem, because there is a MyMathLab problem that is tricky. So if you feel like you get this and you don't want to watch all 12 examples, at least fast forward to the very last one. And we are going to go through this a little bit quicker, okay? So, in general, whatever they give you first is what you start with, except for kind of your medical type of problems. And with those, you always start with weight. So in example 3, suppose that we have a patient who needs medicine and the amount of medicine is based on weight. The patient needs, I'm just going to start underlining my units. A patient needs 1 milligram of medicine for every 15 kilograms of mass in the patient's body. If the patient weighs 180 pounds, how many milligrams of medicine does he or she need? Round to the nearest hundredth, and note that 1 kilogram is about 1.2 pounds. So I want my answer here in milligrams. How many milligrams of medicine? So start with that patient's weight. We have 180 pounder, and we're going to multiply that by. The only thing here that has pounds in its conversion is this one right here. So, because I already have pounds in the top here, I need this pound in the bottom. So we got 2.2 pounds, which leaves that 1 kilogram. And by the way, if you need to, you can put this over 1, okay, if you want a fraction there. So my pounds cancel, but now my answer is in kilograms, and I need this in milligrams. So then we'll use this ratio here. 1 milligram of medicine for every 15 kilograms. Well, I already have kilograms in the top, so I need this kilograms to be in the bottom. So 15 kilograms, and so we'll have our 1 milliliter on the top. So my kilograms cancel. And now the only thing I'm left with is milligrams, which is what I want my answer in. So multiply straight across. 80 times 1 times 1 milligram is 80 milligrams over 2.2, I guess sort of times 1, and then times 15. And so we get 33. So divide, and we are going to get an ugly decimal. But it tells me to round to the nearest hundredth, so that is 2 decimal places. And so we will get about 5.45 milligrams. Now this problem has a continuation. It now says, suppose that the medicine comes in liquid solution that contains 3 milligrams of medicine in every 10 milliliters of fluid. How much liquid medicine should the patient receive? So take our answer we just got over here And again, if you want to, this is the last time I'm going to do this, but if you want to put that over 1, you can. Times, I've got milligrams on top, so I need this milligrams on the bottom. So that leaves my 10 milliliters to be on the top. So now my milligrams cancel, and I'm left with my liquid, which is what I want. So multiply straight across. 5.45 times 10 is 54.5 milliliters, all over 3. It doesn't come out nice again, so we're going to go to 2 decimal places since that one told me to. And so that's going to be about 18.17 milliliters. Okay, so we're going to start going through these a little bit faster. Example 4, convert 40 miles per hour to kilometers per hour. So, start with what they give you. We've got 40 miles over an hour. And we need kilometers per hour. So we saw from that front page that 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. And by the way, you don't have to memorize these. These will be given to you on the test. So because I already have miles on top, I need my 1 mile on the bottom and 1.6 km on the top. My miles cancel, so we multiply straight across. 40 times 1.6 is 64, so we got 64 kilometer over hour. Okay, and that would be the same if you wrote 64 km/hour. Doesn't really matter how you write that. Five, convert 104 kilometers per hour to miles per hour. So we've got 104 kilometer per hour times, use the same conversion here. Because I have my km on top, I now need my km on the bottom. So we have 1.6 km, and then that leaves a 1 mile for the top. My km's cancel. Multiply straight across, we get 104 miles over 1.6 hours. So this is a division problem. And so we get 65. So just like last one, you can do 65 miles over hour. Okay, and that is the same if you do 65 miles per hour. Says if you drive 600 miles in 3 days, so 600 miles over 3 days, and we are averaging 4 hours of driving per day. So I've got day on bottom, so I now need a day on the top. So we've got 1 day over 4 hours. It says find the average of speed in miles per hour. So I don't need this conversion on this one because after I cancel my days, I already have miles over hour. So multiply straight across, we get 600 over 12 hours. So we are averaging 50 miles per hour. Okay, and again, if you don't need all of these, skip to the end. You do need the very last example we do down there. All right, if a patient needs 4 milligrams of medicine for every 25 pounds, and the medicine comes in a solution that contains 25 milligrams of medicine for every 10 milliliters, how many milliliters, that's how I want my answer, of medicine should a 175-pound patient receive? So always start with weight. So I have 175 pounds. So now find a conversion that has the only unit I have here, which is pounds. I've got pounds here. So since I have pounds on top, I need pounds on bottom. So 25 pounds on the bottom, which leaves my 4 milligrams to the top. My pounds cancel, and I'm left with milligrams, but I need milliliters. So we got to keep converting. Now I'm going to use this one here. So I have milligrams on top, that means I need milligrams on the bottom. So 2.5 milligrams, which leaves us 10 milliliters to the top. So now milligrams and milliliters cancel, and I'm left with what I need. Multiply straight across. So 175 times 4 times 10 is going to give me 7,000 milliliters over 25 times 2.5, which is 62.5. So we're going to give her 112, or him, milliliters. Convert 15 yards to inches using the conversion factors of 12 inches equals a foot and 3 feet equal a yard. So I'm converting 2 inches and I have 15 yards. So 15 yards times, we got to start with this conversion here. It's the only one with yards. So I have yards on top, I need yards on bottom. So I've got 3 feet over 1 yard. My yards cancel, I'm left with feet, but I need inches, so keep going. Times, now I'll use this one. So I've got feet on top, so I need feet on bottom. So 12 inches over 1 foot. My feet cancel, and now I'm left with inches, which is what I want. So multiply straight across. 15 times 3 times 12 is 540 inches. On the bottom we have 1 times 1. So my answer here is 540 inches. Nine, how many seconds are in a day? So they don't give me any conversions here, but we should know this one. So how many seconds, this is how I want my answer, are in a day? So start with 1 day. Your next unit down from days are hours. So I have 24 hours in a day, so I want my days to be opposite. So 24 hours in 1 day. Days cancel. I'm left with hours. I need seconds. So keep going. Next unit down from hours is minutes. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So I have hours on top, hours on bottom. Those cancel. So I'm left with minutes, but again, I need seconds. So my next unit down is seconds. So we've got 60 seconds and 1 minute. So So now my minutes cancel. And I'm left with seconds, which is what I want. So now multiply 1 times 24 times 60 times 60. We get 86,400 seconds. Then we have 1 times 1 times 1. So we are done. Okay, example 10. A doctor orders this many grams, 60 milligrams of that kind of medicine for a patient. You have on hand this with a dosage of 20 milligrams per milliliter. How many teaspoons should the patient receive? Note this right here. So start with what they give you. The doctor orders 60 milligrams. So 60 milligrams times, which conversion here has some milligrams in it? It would be this one here. This one doesn't have milligrams. So because I got milligrams on the top, means I need this 20 milligrams on the bottom. That leaves that 5 milliliter to the top. Those cancel. I'm left with milliliters, but I need teaspoons. So let's use this conversion here. You have milliliters on the top, so I need milliliters on the bottom. So 5 milliliters over my 1 teaspoon. My milliliters cancel, and now I'm left with teaspoon, which I want. So multiply straight across. 60 times 5 times 1 teaspoon is 300 teaspoons. On the bottom, 20 times 5 gives me 100. So my final answer here is 3 teaspoons. Last page, and again, if you don't need them all, you need to make sure you make it to at least 10, please. A doctor orders 750 milligrams of this for a patient. You have on hand tablets with a dosage of 0.5 grams per tab. How many tablets should the patient receive? And we are noting that 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. So start with what the doctor ordered. We have 750 milligrams times. This doesn't have milligrams in it, so I'm using this conversion here. And I've already got milligrams on top, so I need these milligrams on the bottom. So we have 1 gram over 1,000 milligrams. My milligrams cancel, but I'm wanting to know how many tablets. So we have to use this right here. So I already have my grams on the top. That means I need this 0.5 grams on the bottom, and then my 1 tab or tablet on the top. Grams cancel, and I'm left with tab, which is what I want. So multiply straight across. We have 750 times 1 times 1. So 750 tabs over 1,000 times 0.5 to get 500. So my patient needs 1.5 tablets. On 12, a doctor orders an injection of this medicine, which is 5 milligrams per kilogram. You have on hand a dosage strength of 100 grams per milliliter. How many milliliters should the patient receive if they weigh 60 kilograms? So, start with the weight. We have 60 kilograms. The only thing that has kilograms in it is this first one here. I've got kilograms on the top, so I need kilograms on the bottom. So we've got 1 kilogram, 5 milligrams goes on the top. Kilograms cancel. I'm left with milligram, but I need milliliters. So use this conversion here. I have milligrams on the top, so I need this 100 milligrams on the bottom, which leaves this 1 milliliter on the top. Now my milligrams cancel, and I'm left with the unit I need. So 60 times 5 times 1 milliliter is 300 milliliters. On the bottom, I just have 1 times 100, so 100. So my final answer is 3 milliliters. And our last one. This is number 10 in your My Math Lab. This is a tricky one. It says a stone is a unit in the British customary system. Use the conversion of 14 pounds equals 1 stone to check the equivalency in the figure. Is 110 kilograms approximately 17 stones, 4 pounds. So in order to answer this, the goal or the trick here is to convert both to pounds and compare. Okay. So if I start with this 110 kilograms. 110 kilograms. We have a conversion somewhere in this chart right here, which we've used on a previous problem, of 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. So because I have kilograms on top, I need kilograms on the bottom. So we have 2.2 pounds over 1 kilogram. My kilograms cancel, multiply straight across, and we get 242 pounds for one of them. Okay, so that's this one here. So now I need to compare or convert this to pounds as well. So okay, it tells me here that 14 pounds equals 1 stone. So with this, when I have 17 stones and 4 pounds, all that means is that you almost have to write this as a, not almost, you have to write this as a mixed number. That means 17 stones, that's your whole number, and then you have 4 over 14. This isn't a full stone yet since it's not the full 14 pounds, so we're doing the pounds over 14 there. So then change that to an improper fraction. So we're doing 14 times 17 and then plus 4. So 14 times 17, and then plus the 4, we're going to get 242 over 14. You keep the same fraction. And then we can reduce, divide both of these by 2. And we get 121 over 17. So 121 stones over 7. Whew. Okay. Now we got to convert that. So now I have 121 stones over 7. Then we're going to use this, because I already have stones on top, I need stones on the bottom. So I've got 14 pounds over 1 stone. My stones cancel. So 121 times 14 is 1694 pounds. All over 1 times 7, which is 7. Divide, and we get 242 pounds. So the question is 100 kilograms the same as 14 stones and 4 pounds? Well, because these convert to the same amount of pounds, my answer here is yes. And a little hint, guys, if you don't want to do the work, it's multiple choice. Just click yes, check answer. If it's wrong, try no. Okay? If you don't feel like going through all this, because you're not going to have a question like this on your test, don't work harder. Work smarter. If you know what I mean. Okay, that's all I have for this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions. Rewind this video as much as you please.